Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the first episode of Dark Places, where we share our stories on our experiences with suicide. I'm your host, Tinotenda Gwitima, and over the next few days, we will just be delving more into this particular issue of suicide and trying to find ways to help each other. With maybe dealing with this if we have people that we know that are close to us that have lost their lives this way, and maybe just trying to help those who might be experiencing some dark situations in their lives right now and are maybe contemplating, and are failing to find a way out. So this is a Rupasa initiative, and we hope that by the end of these next few days, by the 11th of September, which is World Suicide Prevention Day, we may have found a way to share these experiences more so that we can break the stigma around this particular issue and help those who are struggling. All right, so just a bit of background on what World Suicide Prevention Day is. This is a day that is celebrated every 10th of September. It's marked out on the calendar every 10th of September to try and, bring more awareness to this particular topic and try and help in finding different ways or different methods to try and prevent suicide, because this is something that affects a lot of us in our day-to-day lives. Not necessarily as directly, but also indirectly, because we hear these different stories almost on a daily basis. We see these different situations almost on a daily basis. And this is our way of trying to find that we can find solutions, we can find ways to prevent suicide from happening. I come from a scenario where, where I believe we've lost too many people this particular way. But if we educate each other, if we conscientize each other, and if we bring ourselves to a point where we realize that we can prevent this from happening, then I believe we will find solutions together. So thank you again for joining me tonight. To kickstart, I really wanted to place us in an intimate place where you guys get to know me as well. Before we speak to our other guests who will also be sharing what they have gone through. They've been brave enough to share what they have gone through as well. This has been difficult for me today, but as I was preparing for today, I found ways to meditate about it. I spoke to a few people about it to give me that strength to share my story, because I have been directly affected by suicidal thoughts, and as I'm being honest with you, I will let you know that I have even attempted suicide. So I wouldn't be here today if that attempt had been successful. All right, so pretty much just a backdrop to my story. I was quite young when this particular event occurred, and I haven't really shared this with many people, but I feel this year has to be different. This year we have to make a difference, and the best way we can make a difference is by sharing our stories and making people realize that they're not alone, that we are in this together, and that we have faced some of these different challenges that people think that maybe no, the next person, it's not possible, it's just not possible that they've gone through this. But here I am today, and I'm probably just really fearful. I don't know if it shows, but at the same time, I'm really glad that I'm able to share this part of my life with you. So here it goes. So I was young, a number of years back. I had taken time out after some examinations that we had written. So I felt, what, I need a bit of a breather. So I had an opportunity to visit a friend of mine who stays in a different town here in Zimbabwe, and we went. It was great, and I gained the trust of his family and the trust of everyone that was that was at that particular home. It was wonderful. They took me in as one of their own. I had an amazing time there, and we're having fun. And boys will be boys. We did a lot of stuff together. But something happened while we were there, that really, when I was exposed, or when it was found out that I had done what I had done in particular, it really affected me. I felt as if, look, I had this crushing feeling that came down on me. I had this feeling of, what have you done? You don't deserve these people's trust. And it gradually went to, you don't deserve to be alive. You don't deserve to be breathing right now. And the more that night I felt bad about what I had done, the more this thought kept creeping in, and I was trying to plead with these people and apologizing for what I had done, but I felt I wasn't reaching them. I wasn't getting through to them and all that, and some didn't even want to speak to me. So as the day was drawing closer to a close, I felt so overwhelmed with my thoughts. I was in a lonely space. In the end, after trying to plead and apologize, I separated myself from where everyone was and decided to move away into a dark place where I put myself in a position where I had to deal with what I'd done on my own. So the thoughts came tumbling down like a ton of bricks. And I as I have thought of this day, as I always go back to this day, I call those the pre-death thoughts. That's what I would often refer to them as. And it was such a difficult period in my life. It was something I couldn't believe that I had done what I had done, but at the same time, I didn't believe I could go on after what I had done. If you can relate, let me know, reach out. If you've been through anything of that nature, let me know, reach out. But I want you to know, if you've been there or if you are there, you're not alone. And there's a way out that is not suicide. So as I was in that moment, and I was kind of trapped by my thoughts, and I was in pre-death, I found myself seeking a solution, an instant solution, a solution that could get me out of that place, a solution that could pull me out of that dark space, a solution that could allow me to break the chains that I felt I had. Mentally, I was wounded, and physically, I was crushed. Every movement felt as if I was unworthy. I was unworthy to hold my head. I was unworthy to feel that heartbeat, because it felt as if my heart was literally coming out of my chest. The only desire I had was to end it all and to be out of that space. My only desire was to be free of it all. It was a space that was hard to be in, I'll be very honest. It was a space that I had never been in. And because this was a new space, I didn't know how to respond, how to react, and what to do, except just be more drawn to this darkness that I'd found myself in. And at that moment, coincidentally, I cast my eyes on a rope. It seemed so calculated, as if this was supposed to happen as it was about to happen. And I found myself being drawn to that rope, floating towards that rope, desiring to make use of that rope and find a function for it. And so I did. It's crazy that in this moment when I was seeking so much freedom, one thing that would tie me up and make me feel less free is what I thought was the path to freedom. I picked it up, moved towards a tree, funny enough, I think in my mind, the first time I saw that tree, a joke came through my mind where I thought, oh, this looks like a tree that someone can hang themselves on. And this was days before this happened. And I moved towards that tree. As I was moving towards it, it was an out-of-body experience. It felt like it was me, it was my strength. But I wasn't really taking part, but I wanted it. It was my weakness too. I tied the best knot I've ever tied. Measured with my eyes and thought, this is the perfect height. Took a few steps up that tree, looked down onto the earth. Felt I had enough elevation, and I jumped off that branch. And as I jumped, I was hoping someone would look out. I was hoping someone would walk out. So I was hoping someone would say, Tino, no. I was hoping someone would tell me I'm worth it. I was hoping someone would tell me this is the wrong decision. And I had a loud snapping sound. And my feet touched the ground. When I looked down at the ground, it didn't look similar to the ground that I'd looked down on when I was on that branch. It was like I was seeing anew. I was seeing afresh. I was seeing from a different set of eyes. And here I am today. Because of a miscalculation. And because I thought that rope was big enough or strong enough, but it snapped. It couldn't hold me. Death could not hold me at that moment. It wasn't my time. It just wasn't my time. And I'm here today, and I'm sharing this with you today. And I know a lot of people might be in this space, in this dark space, and looking for a way out. I know some of you have attempted and haven't been able to remove these thoughts from your mind, these thoughts that tell you you're not worthy, these thoughts that tell you you don't belong here, but you do. There's still so much for you to do. You are worth every breath. There's so much pressure in the world right now. I know there's COVID going on, there's job loss, there's lockdowns, it's just a lot. So what do we do? So what do we do? The moment I took the first step after what I had done, I decided to write a letter and apologize because of the guilt I felt and because of the harm I had caused earlier. And even though I knew this person didn't want to speak to me at that time, I slid that letter under her door and I hoped she would be able to read it. I went to the other people that I had harmed and I spoke to them and I told them how sorry I was. But these were all solutions I found after potentially having taken my own life. And it made me realize that there's so much that you can do. There's better ways or different ways to handle it. I found that if the support I needed had been there at that point, or if someone had just said, no, Tino, it's okay, you made a mistake, then I would not have made that decision. So there's things we can do. So as we commemorate World Suicide Prevention Day, I urge you all out there to find those things that we can do. And as we talk to different people throughout the week, we will be picking out different nuggets and different ideas and different things of what we can actually do. In my moment, I found that what I can do is to have that good support around me and the ability to apologize. So you may ask, what is the first giveaway, or what is the main giveaway I would want you to get from me sharing my story? First off, it's so you know you're not alone. This is so you know that there are other people out there who have had these thoughts. It's actually said that most people have had at least about 5 suicidal thoughts in their lives or going through their lives. And knowing that it's preventable or knowing the signs can be the first step in stopping someone from actually going ahead and doing it. And I also want people out there to know that, look, no matter what it is that you may be going through, there's people out there who are willing to listen. I'm blessed and I feel privileged to be in an era where we can start conversations through platforms like Rupasa, where we can have conversations through platforms like the Friendship Bench, through platforms like Salt Africa, through platforms like Phoebe, through platforms like the Samaritans. These are places where you can go and seek help when you feel you might be struggling with something. or with your thoughts. So as we commemorate World Suicide Day, which is on the 10th of September, sorry, I think I mentioned the 11th earlier on, but it's actually on the 10th of September. I'd like all of us to join with other organizations and other individuals who are spreading awareness and education around suicide and mental illnesses out there, and also reminding the world that suicide is preventable. So this has been the first episode of Dark Spaces, and I hope that my story can inspire someone out there to talk about theirs so that we can help other people around us. I know you might be going through something. Someone you know might be going through something. This is our chance to prevent suicide from actually happening by sharing these stories, reducing the stigma, and showing people that there's other ways we can handle this. Thank you for tuning in. This has been Dark Spaces with myself, Tinotenda Gwitima. Remember to look after your loved ones, and remember to check on your loved ones. Stay safe and stay blessed. Thank you.